not be any administrators who will manage the society, the unscrupulous men or unscrupulous activities of men will increase, whoever is left, because there are no administrators. And that way, the women, the most vulnerable children and women, will be affected. And because of them, the women might get contaminated or polluted, which will cause unwanted children. So when he says Sankaro Narakayeva, that those unwanted children, the Sankaro, the unwanted children, Narakaya, what they will do? They will make this life hellish. Kulagnana kulasya. Certainly for those who are the killers of the family, for the family. Kulasya. Kulagnana kulasya. So if we kill the family, there will not be any caretakers for the family, and that will kill the whole family. The unwanted children will further kill the family by creating, by making this, by that way, by making this life more hellish. They'll make it like a naraka. So what will fall down? The varna. The varnashram system will completely fall down. So the first sanskar, as we discussed, is the garbhadhan sanskar. That itself will be polluted. So the children will be born with very low consciousness because they will be born out of ill sanskara. Isn't that the situation today, which we see? That there is varna sankara. There is no varna. There is no process of garbhadhan sanskar. Children are born like over, there is no sanskar which is related to that. They're just born of, you know, just lust, and that's all. So that sanskar will not be there. That's what is Arjun worried about. And those unwanted children will create this life hellish. And patanti pitaro yesham. So that will also bring down the forefathers. Forefathers means the ones who are actually the pitra. Pitro means, pitaro means forefathers. Forefathers for whom the people do pindadan. For them to keep, which is a kind of ritual which is performed. Have you heard about this? Pinda, tarpan. This is what you do
Yep.
at the time of Shraddha. So when someone, the forefathers are dead, the putra performs the Shraddha, and he does the pindadan first. Shraddha is further. So he does the pindadan. So pinda is the food offered to the forefathers, and tarpan is the water, which is mentioned here as pinda udaka. So pinda udaka will lupt. They will go. There will not be any pindadan. So they will not be delivered because this dan will not be performed. So basically, there are 5 or 6 types of rin which we have to. Rin means the debt we have on us, which we have to pay back in this lifetime. So like there is a rin of the Janma Bhumi, there is a rin of the relatives, there is a rin of this environment, there is a rin of parents. So this is what you have. The Pindadan is nothing but the rin which you are, the debt which you are trying to clear off from you. So that dan will stop. Okay, if they are unwanted, they will not follow the varna, the ashrama, the proper processes of doing. That's what Arjuna is worried about. So what is, so that process basically is performed by the putra. So the meaning of the putra, so I'll just show you the verse here before we go on to. So this is what he's talking about. Lupta patanti pitaro. So all the pitaros will be, they will have a fall. They will fall. Yosham lupta pindo the kriya. There will not be pindadana kriya. So pinda means food, offering of food, and udaka is water or tarpan as we call. So that will completely be destroyed. So what is the duty of a putra? So the duty of a putra is to deliver the forefathers by providing pindadan. So pum namno narkad yasma trayate iti putra. So the one who delivers the forefathers from the hell, which is known as pun, he is called putra. Although this is Arjuna saying, he is following the dharma artha kama moksha, the way a purushartha. He's talking about purushartha, how this is how the rin is given up by doing pindadan. The reason why he doesn't he's saying is because he is only thinking about the karma kanda way of life. That is the the material way of life, which needs these all rituals to be performed. Although these are not required if one is surrendered to Lord Krishna, or if he is surrendered to the Lord or the Supreme. For him, he does not have to go through all these. Only if his purpose of life is to serve the Supreme, then all these pindadan, all these other rin, he is not supposed to fulfill all that. That what Arjun does not understand, which Krishna will make him understand later. But what his argument is that all these kriyas, all these rituals, all these uh, performances, the kriya, the pindadan, they will be stopped, and that will cause the life to be hellish. So that is 1.41. We'll read 1.42. I'll share screen with you. Please repeat after me. दोषे रेते कुलघ्नानाम्
दोषे ते कुलघ्नानां
वर्णसङ्करकारकै
वर्णसङ्करकारकैः
उत्साध्यन्ते जातिधर्मा
उत्साद्यन्ते जातिधर्माः
कुलधर्माश्च शाश्वताः
कुलधर्माश्च शाश्वताः
दोषैरेतैः कुलघ्नानाम्
दोषैरेते कुलघ्नानां
वर्णसङ्करकारकै
वर्णसङ्करकारकैः
उत्साध्यन्ते जातिधर्मा
उत्साद्यन्ते जातिधर्माः
कुलधर्माश्च शाश्वताः
कुलधर्माश्च शाश्वताः
दोषैरैतैः कुलघ्नानाम्
दोषैरेते कुलज्ञानां
वर्णसङ्करकारकैः
वर्णसङ्करकारकैः
उत्साध्यन्ते जातिधर्मा
उत्साद्यन्ते जातिधर्मा
कुलधर्माश्च शाश्वताः
Kula
Kuladharma
dharma shashwata.
Someone please read the translation.
by the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children. All kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated.
So, family welfare activities, Kula Dharma. So, what is a Kula Dharma? We had discussed last time. What is Kula Dharma? Kula Dharma, Jati Dharma.
Kul is like family tradition.
Yeah.
All the family tradition, values, and practices done by previous forefathers, which are taught to the next generation, should be followed.
Hmm. So, what is the Kula Dharma? So, what are those family traditions?
Mm, to give example, we did Holi celebration. So
Hmm.
during Holi celebration, doing the Holika Dahan is one of the practices which is to be followed by offering food to the Agni
Hmm.
and praying for the goodwill of everyone. That is one of
Okay.
the example. I
So,
think.
if that is your way, that some your family is doing that and you are following that, correct?
Yep.
Does all the family follow the same thing? They do that.
No, not
No,
necessarily.
sir.
So that way, how many Kula Dharmas will be there depending on the families? Can
Yeah.
we follow all the Kula Dharma?
No, sir.
So what is the actual Kula Dharma? What is the actual Jati Dharma?
Following this tradition set up by Sanatan Dharma
Okay, what
in
is
that
that?
case.
So what is that?
Advaita,
Hmm?
Advaita,
Advaita.
that's just
Is it a guess?
yes.
Hmm, I thought so. The guess is wrong. I'm sorry, unfortunately.
Mhm.
So what is the Kula Dharma?
Kul dharma. Kul means your family, like forefathers and all, right?
So let's read the purport and see. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Community projects for the four orders of human society combined with family welfare activities as they are set forth by the institution of Sanatan Dharma, which Shittit said correctly. But what is it? Is also known as Varnashram Dharma, are designed to enable the human being to attain his ultimate salvation. Therefore, the breaking of the Sanatan Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings about chaos in that society. And consequently, people forget the aim of life, which is Vishnu.
Wow. Okay.
Such leaders are called blind, and persons who follow such leaders are sure to be led into chaos. Very powerful purport by Srila Prabhupada, if you read. So, what is Varnashram Dharma? What is Varna?
There are four
We,
varnas:
so, yes, what are those four Varnas?
Brahman,
Hmm.
Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra.
And who is a Shudra?
Shudra is the one who is instinctively a Shudra.
What does that mean?
Like,
Instinctively a Shudra.
for I can give you an example. Like who does a job of IT, accounting. They're all considered as Shudra.
Everyone is born as a Shudra till the time they gain some knowledge.
Okay, that is okay. But so can Shudra reach moksha?
Yeah,
Can he reach salvation?
yeah.
How?
He has to follow his dharma.
What is the dharma?
In simple words, devotional service to Lord Vishnu
Okay. By following what?
by
Vedas.
One moment. So,
So by his kul dharma, isn't it?
okay. So Varna is not a single word. There is another suffix to it, right? Which we just discussed. What was that?
Varna,
Varnasrama.
Varnashrama.
What is
Varnasrama.
ashram? What is ashram?
Refuge.
Refuge of what?
So we discussed this last time. It's not an abode, it's a
Absolutely.
refuge. Yes.
Yes. It's a shelter, right?
It's a shelter. Yes.
Yeah. So what is that shelter for? Why are you taking that shelter for?
Taking shelter is like submitting to the God.
One second. So I think there is a bit of confusion here in understanding. We take the shelter, that is ashrama. What are the four ashrams?
I think we did this
Yes, we've done this too.
many times. Grahast ashram,
Okay, can you tell me in sequence?
I know the last one is Vanaprasth.
No, the last one is sannyas.
Sannyas. Yeah.
brahmacharya ashram,
Okay,
then
brahmacharya, then grahastha,
grahastha
then
ashram,
vanaprastha,
vanaprastha, and
and
then
then there
sannyas.
is sannyas.
Sannyas.
Why do we follow these?
These are the religious traditions laid down as per our dharma, which a person
So
has to
why
follow
do
at
you do all
his
this?
maximum.
If someone tells you to do that, would you ask him, why am I doing all this? If someone becomes a brahmachari, will he know why is he become brahmachari, or just becomes brahmachari for fun? That's it. I'm a brahmachari and remains brahmachari. Why is someone a brahmachari? Why do you do all these varnashram?
Because that's defined in Vedas.
Yeah, for what?
Um,
What is the purpose of doing that? Why
Moksha.
do you do that? Okay.
well,
The
moksha
main
might be a big. Moksha is a too vague a concept. I mean,
Why are we doing all this? Why are we reading Bhagavad Gita? Okay, I'll come back to this. Why are we reading Bhagavad Gita?
choice, sir.
Choice. Okay.
um, to understand the values and principles that are defined in our dharma and try to follow that religious principles and
So, what is the dharma of every living being? Okay, what is a living being? Who's a living being?
Jiva.
Jiva.
the
So, what?
soul.
Jiva, soul. Yeah. Okay. So what is the purpose of that? Okay. What is the dharma of the soul?
It always desires.
That is the nature. That is
No,
what it does. But what is the dharma? What is the dharma of a soul? What is it supposed to do?
follow the devotional service to Lord
Ah,
Krishna, the Supreme Lord. And
Okay, now we are getting it closer. What is so? Anybody's dharma is defined by the purpose of that particular thing.
mhm,
So, sugar's dharma is
give sweetness.
to give sweetness. If that sugar is not giving you sweetness, that means it is not sugar, correct?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
If a substance is giving you a salty effect, you call it a salt, right? By the purpose of that, you define the dharma of something. That is called dharma. So when you say what is the dharma of the soul is to serve the Lord, that is the dharma. That is the
Okay.
nature of the soul. So to become a brahmachari to serve the Lord, you become a grahastha to serve the Lord, you become a vanaprastha to serve the Lord, you become a sannyasi to become serve the Lord. So varnashram dharma is categorized ultimately to serve the God nicely.
But sir, I had a question.
So what is varna ashram? So can a shudra serve the Lord?
Yes.
Correct? By following the different ashrama.
Ashrams.
Either he becomes a brahmachari, either he becomes a grahastha, either he becomes later on he becomes vanaprastha or he becomes sannyasi. Whatever way he wants. Can a Vaishya serve the Lord by following the ashrama system?
Yes.
Yep.
Simple, right? So no matter which varna are you, it doesn't matter. You can still serve the. That is the purpose. Why is varna defined? Varna is based on the nature of a person, what he wants, what he does. Yes? With his instincts, as Kalpesh correctly said. What is the instinct? Natural. Some people do go to the job, they go work for 8 hours, but they always want to do business somehow. Even when they're working, they're doing business somehow. So that is nature is Vaishya. Nature is a businessman, although he's working as a Shudra. So you cannot classify someone as that. It's hard. Someone who's going to the work, but he always like to be in power. He likes to be administering everyone. Even if he's working as a very low level thing, even if he like to administer. So slowly and slowly he'll become a CEO of the company. There are many examples like that, yes? So that nature is Kshatriya. Brahman. Nature is giving, sacrifice, being compassionate, teaching, reading the Shastras. Nature. Even if he's doing something else, but his heart is here. Even if he's going to the work, he'll start doing, all those kind of activities, somehow or the other. He'll link that. Not interested in, making money or anything. So he just wants to do this. So there is nature. Yes. So all these four varnas can follow the ashrama to serve the Lord. That is varnashram dharma. Yes, Randhir, what question you had?
So people's natures can change, right? I mean, what?
So that is personal, right? Varna. What do you want to do? That is why there is Varna Sankara at the moment, right? Because it's all mixed. Nobody knows what is my Varna. Can you identify your Varna? Because it keeps changing, yes? If it keeps
Well,
changing, if it keeps changing, that means there is no clear picture of the Varna.
that is
So if there
correct,
is
sir.
no, so if there is no clear picture of the Varna, that means there is Varna Sankara. Sankara means mixed. Varna has been
Yes.
mixed, which is correct.
Yes.
This is what Arjun was getting worried about, and it has happened. Yes. Okay. So what is the Kula Dharma? Kula Dharma is nothing but Varnashram Dharma. If you follow the Varna and Ashrama in the service of the Lord, that is actual the Kula Dharma. But Arjun is not saying about that. Arjun is talking about the rituals that are performed. They will be lost. So he is still talking about that. So his knowledge needs to be clarified, which Krishna will ultimately do. So he's talking on our behalf. So if you put yourself into Arjun's shoes, you'll at once understand what he's talking about. He's talking about that. He's not clear. He's confused. He doesn't know what is Kula Dharma. Yes? Any questions on this? No? Okay.
Nope.
So we move on to the next verse. 1.43. I'll share my screen with you. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Please repeat after me. उत्सन्न कुलधर्माणाम्
उत्सन्न
उत्सन्न
कुलधर्माणां
कुलधर्माणां
मनुष्याणां जनार्दन
मनुष्याणां
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 जनार्दन
जनार्दन
नरके नियतं वासो
नरके
नरके
नियतं
नियतं
वासो
वासो
भवतीत्यनुशुश्रुम्
भवति
भवति
यदुःशुश्रम्
इत्युक्तम्
उत्सन्न कुलधर्माणाम्
उत्सन्न कुलधर्माणां
उत्सन्नकुलधर्माणाम्
उत्सन्नकुलधर्माणां
मनुष्याणां जनार्दन
मनुष्याणां
मनुष्याणां
मनुष्याणां जनार्दन
जनार्दन
नरके नियतं वासो
नरके
नरके नियतं
नियतं
वासो
वासो
भवतीति अनुशुश्रुम
भवति
भवति ते अनुशुश्रुम
भवतीत्यनुशुश्रुतम्
उत्सन्न कुलधर्माणाम्
उत्सन्नकुलधर्माणाम्
उत्सन्नकुलधर्माणां
मनुष्याणां जनार्दन
मनुष्याणां
मनुष्याणां
जनार्दन
जनार्दन
नरके नियतं वासो
नरके
नरके नियतं
नियतं
वासो
वासो
भवतीत्य अनुशुश्रुम्
भवतीत्य
भवतीत्यनुशुश्रुतम्
अनुशुश्रुम्
Anyone can read the translation, please?
O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard the disciplic succession that those family traditions are destroyed, dwell always in hell.
So he says, I've heard that the disciplic succession, that those whose family traditions are destroyed, dwell in hell. So he says, when the Kula Dharma, disciplic successions, or Jati Dharma, Kula Dharma are destroyed, they rot in hell. So he's also referring to someone whose Pindadan has not been done. So that's the reason why we do Pindadan, right? We do the Pinda Tarpana, Pinda Udoka. So Pinda means food and Udoka is water, Pinda Tarpana. Why do we do that? So that they do not go to the lower planets. They do not go into Narka. They don't go into hell. Correct? Isn't that the reason? So if the Kula Dharma is destroyed, if you're not following the rituals, then he says all the whose family traditions are destroyed dwell in it. So they all will be dwelling in hell. So we'll read the purport of this one as well. It's very small.
So Prabhuji, so that Pindadan is only done by male son or daughter can also do that.
So it will be further explained that all these rituals, these can be actually be skipped if someone is in the shelter of the Lord.
You know what my daughter once told me that, oh, after your death I should burn you, right?
So all these rituals which we see in the outside world, the Kula Dharma as we call it, you know, these are only for the material welfare. But
Okay.
when we are under the shelter of the Lord, we go on a higher platform. We go on a spiritual platform. And when we take care of, when we take shelter of the Lord, all these material aspects are taken care by the Lord. We do not have to worry about all this. Chapter 8 will explain how to die. So don't worry. Full chapter. Krishna has dedicated how to die, how to leave this
So
body.
Bhagavad Gita, I told one of my friend it's art of dying. Is that fair enough?
Mm, no, it's not just art of dying. It is a lot more than that. It's a lot more than that. In simple terms, you can say Bhagavad Gita is something which can deliver you to a spiritual platform. So you can go above this platform of consciousness to the higher consciousness. That's what Bhagavad Gita can do. It's something like you're standing on, say, on the ground floor of a building, yeah, and you're seeing people, but there's limited vision, right? Yes. Now suppose if someone takes you and keeps you on Sydney Harbour on top, how's the vision?
Still limited.
Yeah. So that's what Bhagavad Gita does. Just makes you give a better view. So you see from the level of consciousness at the bottom, and you see from the level of consciousness at the top. That is called Shastra Chakshu. So you see your vision is wider. So art of dying or how to die is just one aspect of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'll share my screen with you. Arjun bases his argument not on his own personal experience, but on what he has heard from the authorities. That's what we do, right? We do not have our personal experience of Pindadan, correct? But the experience, what we are talking about, is only what we have heard from the authorities, correct? Yes?
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong, all of you. Yes or no?
That's correct. Yes. We always just hear.
We have just heard and seen things, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the way of receiving real knowledge. One cannot reach the real point of factual knowledge without being helped by the right person who's already established in that knowledge. There is a system in the Varnashram's institution by which, before death, one has to undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities. One who is always engaged in sinful activities must utilize the process of atonement called prayashchita. Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to hellish planets to undergo miserable lives as the result of sinful activities. So in Varnashrama, there is a thing called prayashchita, atonement. Have you heard about this term? Yes?
Yeah.
So prayashchita. So to avoid going into the hellish planets. That's what Arjun is saying, that this will happen if they do not follow the Varnashrama. Arjun is referring to that Kula Dharma, not to our Kula Dharma. He is referring to Varnashrama Dharma. All right. But what is the actual Varnashrama Dharma for? It should be used for the service of the Lord. Then it is correctly utilized, which he will understand later. Okay. So we'll read the next verse, 1.44. Please repeat after now. Aho bata mahat papam
Aho
अहोपतमहत्पापं
kartum vyavasita vayam
Kartum
कर्तुं
कर्तुं
व्यवस्थिता वयम्
व्यवस्थितो वयम्
yadrajya sukhalobhena
yatra
यद्राज्यसुखलोभेन
यज्ञाचक्षुषेण
hantum swajanamudyata
hantum
हन्तुं
स्वजनमुद्यताः
स्वजनमुद्यता
aho bata mahat papam
aho
अहोपतमहत्पापम्
अहोपतमहत्पापं
kartum vyavasita vayam
kartum
कर्तुं
कर्तुं
व्यवस्थिता वयम्
व्यवस्थिताय वयम्
yadrajya sukhalobhena
yatra
यद्राज्यसुखलोभेन
hantum swajanamudyata
hantum
हन्तुं स्वजनमुद्यता
स्वजनमुद्यताः
aho bata mahat papam
aho
अहोपतमहत्पापम्
अहोपतमहत्पापं
kartum vyavasita vayam
kartum
कर्तुं
कर्तुं व्यवस्थिता
व्यवस्थिताय
वयम्
वयम्
यद्राज्य सुखलोभेन
यत्राज्यसुखलोभेन
हन्तुं स्वजनमुद्यताः.
Antum
Antum Sujanam
Someone please read the translation.
So, alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kingsmen.
So what is Arjun understanding on the purpose of this fight?
Mm, all the parties have their own desires for getting the
No,
happiness.
no, no. What is Arjun's desire to fight?
royal happiness is as pointed by you in the
Simple, right? No
Yeah.
brainer. He says it. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing own kinsmen. Yeah. Isn't that normally our purpose is to work? We want to enjoy the royal happiness. Yes, correct. Isn't that our desire? Just like Arjun, we want to enjoy, eh?
Yeah.
But what is Krishna's purpose?
Krishna's purpose.
For this yuddha,
It's a dharma yuddha, he says. Krishna says.
To kill all the adharmis and set up dharma on the planet.
Planet, yeah.
very nice. So it is said in chapter 4, verse 8. I'll share my screen with you.
For
Actually, sir,
Yeah.
wouldn't you actually say is rather than killing the adharmis, it's more of a question of, since we're talking about bringing people, if you're saying is the Shudra or a Kshatriya or a Vaishnava can all follow their Varna system, right?
So please
And
repeat after me on this verse. You'll get the answer why Krishna wants to fight or why does he come
right,
down. Chapter 4, verse 8. Can you read? Can you see this?
yes,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah. Paritranaya sadhunam
Paritranaya
Pranaya
sadhunam
Swadhuna,
vinashaya chatushkritam
Vinashaya
Vinashaya Cha Drushkitra,
dharma sansthapanarthaya
dharma
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 samsthapanaya
Sanstapaya,
sambhavami yuge yuge.
sambhavami.
Sambhavi
sambhavi.
Yuga Yuga.
You must know this verse by heart, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because it used to come on TV every
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the meaning of this verse? Can someone please read?
To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well to re-establish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium.
So here the dharma has been translated into religion because there is no close translation with the limitations of English. Sorry. So that's the reason this word is here. So to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants. So there is no varna here to answer your question, Randir.
Right. So I can understand the first component and saying is okay, well, to deliver the pious, and even by following his teachings, people can actually can rise to a higher level of consciousness. But I still am unable to come to terms with uh, him instructing people to annihilate.
Hmm. So why is he asking him to kill? Is it what your question is?
Yes, sir.
So he should do it by himself. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. But Arjun is a great warrior. He can do it by himself. Why Krishna should do that for him?
But Arjun has this concept, so he doesn't have the right motivation.
So
That's
he
what it
should
is out
fix.
here.
Yeah. So he will fix the concept. He will not do things for him. Isn't that the right way of mentoring?
Okay, so he's talking about mentoring.
Of course. God will always mentor you. He will not come down and do things for you. If that's what we're expecting, we're in the wrong boat, mate. Okay?
Mm. Yes, yes. I get your point.
All right. So,
Mentorship.
this is the purpose of Krishna and why he wants Arjun to fight. And because Arjun's purpose is not matching with Krishna, that's why he's in dilemma. That's why there is confusion. So, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. So, we'll read the purport also. It's very small, very interesting purports by Srila Prabhupada on this. It says, driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined to such sinful acts as killing of one's own brother, father, or mother. There are many such instances in the history of the world. Yes, there are, right? I'll give you a not so old example. Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb killed his brother. Do you know what his name was? His brother's name? Dara
No,
Shikoh.
Dara
Dara
Shikoh.
Sekha.
He killed his brother. He jailed
Mhm.
his father, Shah Jahan.
Yeah.
He only gave him one piece of bread every day just
But sir,
because he
Shah
was.
Jahan did the same to his father, his brothers.
I'm not sure about that, but Aurangzeb definitely did that. So there are many such instances in the history of the world. But Arjun, being a saintly devotee of the Lord, is always conscious of moral principles because he has that compassion. That's the reason why he is conscious of killing his own relatives. Whereas the other people in history, in the recent past, they have not cared about that because there is no compassion. And therefore, he takes care to avoid such activities. Though his purpose is incorrectly defined, but his compassion is still on. So Arjun is the devotee of the Lord, but he is lacking clarity, which Krishna will give him. Yes. So that's the meaning of this verse. So this shows Arjun's desire. Basically, he says that desire, the purpose is wrong. For that, I don't want to fight. So let's read 1.45. यदि माम अप्रतिकारम्
यदि
यदि
माम
माम अप्रतिकारम्
अशस्त्रं शस्त्रपाणयः
शस्त्रं शस्त्रपाणयाः
धार्तराष्ट्रारणे हन्युस्
धार्तराष्ट्रारणे हन्युः
तन्मे क्षेमतरं भवेत्
तन्मे क्षेमातरं भवेत्
यदि माम प्रतीकारम्
यदि
यदि माम प्रतीकारम्
शस्त्रं शस्त्रपाणयः
शस्त्रं शस्त्रपाणयाः
धार्तराष्ट्रारणे हन्युस्
धार्तराष्ट्रारणे हन्युः
तन्मे क्षेमतरं भवेत्
तन्मे श्रीमन्तरं भवेत्
यदि माम प्रतीकारम्
यदि माम प्रतीकारम्
शस्त्रं शस्त्रपाणयः
शस्त्रं
शस्त्रपाणयाः
धार्तराष्ट्रारणे हन्युस्
धार्तराष्ट्रारणे हन्युः
तन्मे क्षेमतरं भवेत्.
तन्मे श्रीमन्तरं भवेत्
Translation, please.
Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield.
That is his thought process.
Mm,
So he's thinking that it's better for me that the sons of Dhritarashtra will come with weapons in hand and kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. Let's read the purport. Srila Prabhupada, what he says. It is the custom, according to Kshatriya fighting principles, that an unarmed and unwilling foe should not be attacked. Arjun, however, decided that even if attacked by the enemy in such an awkward position, he would not fight. He did not consider how much the other party was bent upon fighting. All these symptoms are due to soft heartedness, resulting from his being a great devotee of the Lord. So, all these different arguments he's giving, the core argument being his compassion, soft heartedness. We'll read the last words now. Sanjay Uvacha
Sanjaya Uvacha
Eva Muktva Arjuna.
एवं
Eva
उक्त्वा
Muktva Arjuna
Sorry, I will repeat this.
Eva
Eva Muktarjuna Sankhye
Eva
एवमुक्तार्जुन
Muktarjuna
संख्ये
Sankhe
Ratopastha Upavishat
रतोपस्थ
Ratopavishat
रथोपविशत
Visrajya Sasharam Chapam
Visrajya
विसृज्य चाप
Sasaram Chapam
Shoka Samvigna Manasah
Shokasamvighnamanasah
Sanjaya Uvacha
संजय
संजय
उवाच
Uvacha
Eva Muktva Eva Muktarjuna Sankhye
Eva
एवमुक्त्वा
Muktarjuna
संखे
Sankhe
Rathopastha Upavishat
रतोपस्थ
रथोपविशत
उपाविश
Visrajya Sasharam Chapam
Visrajya Sasaram Chapam
Shoka Samvigna Manasah
शोक
लोकसंविघ्नमानसः
Shokasambhignamanasah
Sanjaya Uvacha
संजय
Sanjaya
उवाच
Eva Muktvarjuna Sankhye
एवं
एवमुक्त्वा
संख्ये
Sankhe
Rathopastha Upavishat
रथोपस्थ
रथोपस्थ उपाविश
Visrajya Sasharam Chapam
विसृज्य
Visrajya
सशरं
Sasaram
चाप
Chapam
Shoka Samvigna Manasah.
शोक
Shokasambhignamanasah
Okay, can someone please read the translation?
Sanjay said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief.
Sasharam Chapam. So Sasharam along with bows. Sa is along, Sharam is arrows. Sa is along with, Sharam is arrows. Chapam is bow. Chapam Sharam. Sharam Chapam. Sharam Chapam means bows and arrows. Arrows and bows. So he cast aside his bow and arrows and his mind overwhelmed with grief. We'll just understand how the mind plays on someone and how, when we are in doubt or unclear or not able to take a decision on doing things, how Krishna helps and how he helps with a perfect solution. which covers all the aspects. So we'll go to a pastime which happened during the war. So we're just going a little forward to understand current situation. So Yudhishthir, on one of the days of the fight, came in front of Karna. He confronted Karna with a fight. And Karna, of course, he was better in martial arts than Yudhishthir. He was a better Dhanurdhara, yeah, better archer. So he, within a few moments, he started defeating Yudhishthir, and he actually disarmed him completely. And then Karna spoke some words which were very disheartening for Yudhishthir. He said that, he said, you are so weak. You are not a well trained Kshatriya, or you are not a well trained warrior. You are not a Kshatriya itself. So, to kill you will be something, to kill you will be a dishonor for me. So, I will let you go. So, Yudhishthir was really, really heartbroken. Because for a Kshatriya who's fighting, if he is defeated, it's better for him to get killed than to give such receive such a comment from someone. An insult. An insult for a Kshatriya is like worse than the death. So that is what Karna gave him. And Yudhishthir was furious. Was furious. He went back to his shivir in his tent, and he was, deeply injured from his heart as well, and his body also was injured. So he was taking rest, and he was getting some medical treatment. At the time, Arjun, when he heard that he was defeated, he was making his way to Yudhishthir. Now I'll just pause it here, and I'll just go a little further back. Before the war, Arjun had taken a vow when after Draupadi Chirharan. He was very angry at the Kauravas. He said, now their end is destined, and I will make sure that I will kill all these Kauravas. My Gandiva will never come out of my shoulder now until I finish all these sons of Dhritarashtra, defeat them all and kill them all. And if anyone tells me to take this off from my shoulder or keep it aside, I will kill that person. That is a vow I take. That is the vow of Arjun. Okay. So he was making his way towards Yudhishthir. So we come back to the situation now. I'm just giving you a background. So he was making his way towards Yudhishthir's shivir, towards Yudhishthir's tent. Once he reached Yudhishthir's tent, he enters inside. Yudhishthir had a look at him, and he had a small grin in his face. And he just asked the first question, did you kill Karna or not? Arjun said, no, I just came rushing to see you as to how your health is. Yudhishthir's next words were, if you have not killed that Karna who has given disgrace to your elder brother and to all the Pandavas, you should at once throw your Gandiv off your shoulder. So because he had taken a vow that if someone even tells me to take this Gandiv and throw it off my shoulder, keep it away, I'm going to kill him. At once, Arjun took off his Gandiva and he was about to kill Yudhishthir. He became a Atataina for Yudhishthir, stretching his arrows right in front of him. At that point, when it was about to happen, Krishna came. because he was standing there in around the shiver. He came and asked Arjun to hold off. He said, "Hold on, calm yourself, just hear me out, and then do what you want to do." He said, "I know you have taken a vow of killing someone who tells you to keep away the Gandiva. I understand that. But for a Kshatriya like Yudhishthir, to insult him is more grave than killing him." Then he kept quiet. At that time, Arjun took away his bow and arrow, kept it on the shoulder, and started insulting Yudhishthir. He said, "Because of you, Draupadi was assaulted, and she was mugged, and she was stripped in the whole court. Because of you, we are in this situation. Because of your gambling instinct, we happened." He started scolding him, he left and right, insulting him. "Because of your filthy desires, this has happened, this and that." And that really hurt Yudhishthir. That once he finished, he took it all out. He was standing. Krishna told him, "You've insulted him enough now. Are you done? Are you satisfied?" He said, "Yes." And at once he took it all out, he rushed into Yudhishthir's feet and he put his head there for forgiveness. He said, "I'm so sorry. In the heat of the moment, I have said all this. I didn't mean all this." And Yudhishthir was a Dharmaraj, anyways. He forgave him. So at times when Arjun had this problem, yeah, of not able to do the right thing, totally confused. He is stuck between his taken his vow. He has to kill his own brother. Is telling him to throw away the Gandiva, and he is fulfilling his vow. You're just trying to get entangled in these worldly activities and these vows and these processes and these principles. At that time, Krishna gave him the intelligence to think properly. And at this point of time, in 1.46, he's keeping away his bow and arrow away. The person who has taken a vow that if someone tells him to keep his bow and arrow away, will kill him, that person is by voluntarily he's keeping his bow and arrow away. So who's playing here? It is Arjun's mind which is playing here. So at times we have these problems that when we are unable to decide because our mind is playing with us, that is the time to listen to Krishna. That is the time to surrender to Krishna. And of course, Arjun will do that and he'll get the solution out. Because Krishna will give the best solution, which he gave to Arjun. He took him out from a grave mistake he was about to do of killing Yudhishthir. And his vow was also not broken, and Arjuna is also satisfied. That is Krishna. So instead of relying on our own mind and intelligence, sometimes we are unable to give the right solution to our problems or conclude at the right solution to our problems. At that time, we have to surrender to Krishna. We'll read the purport now. While observing the situation of his enemy, Arjun stood up on the chariot, but he was so afflicted with lamentation that he sat down again, setting aside his bow and arrows. Such a kind and soft hearted person in the devotional service of the Lord is fit to receive self knowledge. This is what Srila Prabhupada says. So, such a compassionate person is fit to receive the knowledge of the God, which he will give him in chapter 2. So, that ends our chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. So, Arjun is the devotee of the Lord. He will take shelter of the Lord very soon and he will get a solution. So, the purpose of Bhagavad Gita, right from chapter 1, is that whoever reads it should inspire and try to become the devotee of the Lord. The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is not karmanyeva adhikaraste. Just do your work and do your duty. That's what most people understand. What is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita's purpose is 18.66. Sarva dharmana parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. Surrender unto the Lord. Surrender yourself to the Lord. And take his suggestions, take his advice in performing your duties. That's surrendering unto him. Every chapter of Bhagavad Gita will constantly speak about the same purpose. And if we are able to accept it, our life will be successful. Thank you.